All right, Bang Bang. Today is Tuesday. It's April 26th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. It's Eddie. It's Chief. It's not a tinfoil. It's just a regular topic today.
Yep.
It's a topic that kind of was setting the Twitter sphere, the social media sphere on fire last week.
Big time.
I feel like Netflix.
Yeah, I feel like KFC went kind of viral talking about this too.
Did he?
I think he did a 1 Minute Man on it.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, I don't think it's an easy thing to like just
parse
break
out.
down. Everyone's like, fucking. I mean, we'll get into it for a second, but a lot of people are like kind of dunking on Netflix, and I
don't understand.
I don't get that either at all.
Especially because
not at all. I should say Netflix. Like there are some valid complaints, valid gripes. You know, so I don't know.
I don't know either. But it is one of those things where it's like everyone is like so shocked at like some of the numbers that came out where their subscribers are way down and the prices are going up, and they're like cracking down on like, you know, on the password sharing and all this, and they're talking about putting ads into Netflix to kind of make up for some of this. You know who kind of saw this coming and told people that this was coming? Netflix themselves. Like they were first to market. You know, they started off as that fucking, my dad had a subscription, I remember. Like he would get DVDs in the mail. Mm-hmm. And then he would take them on business trips because he would, you know, fly all over, and you get basically staying in these hotels, you get CNN and nothing else. And back then, most laptops had a little DVD player built into the computer. So he would find a movie on Netflix, get it in the mail, send it back in the mail. And that's what Netflix was. And then they became like the streaming giant that everybody knows, and they had no competition for forever. Mm-hmm. And
you know, they still do that, by the way.
The DVD service?
Yes, they still do that.
Why?
Yes, and from what I'm told, their packages for DVD wise, like, you know, they obviously have a limited catalog on streaming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Their DVD service is like everything.
Any movie you can ever think of?
Like just about, I've heard.
Which is
interesting.
It is interesting. So if you have a Netflix subscription, can you also send away from it?
There's two different plans, two different packages. Yeah, you got to have the right package to do it. And that one's obviously more expensive because they're shipping you a fucking DVD.
I mean, if you're the DVD person at this point, just go to like the Redbox vending machine.
I don't know, man. All due respect to Redbox, those people I see standing outside the Redbox, I have questions.
Well, no shit.
Come on.
No shit.
And like, listen, I'm the most
you don't question
nostalgic movie person. Like, if Blockbuster was still around, I'd be going.
Wait a second. You question them, but you don't question the people who get it in the mail?
No, that's like you could do that discreetly and like nobody sees you. You know, it's much easier.
To me, it's just like
people
it's the
stand there
same.
in a 4-person line and they're, you know, lifting that curtain up and poking things, and
that has to be, because I remember going to Blockbuster and it was just like you would get like the anxiety, be like, well, what am I gonna pick?
Yeah,
what movie am I gonna pick? So unless you went there with a plan for a new release or something like that, you're just walking through the aisles forever. I can't even imagine. Like, even it's like picking a song on a jukebox, like, or touch tunes. Like, you better have a home run.
You know what's interesting too is how on streaming, obviously, it's very hard to find something to watch as well. However, you watch trailers.
I've seen every trailer.
Now, for Blockbuster, you better had a damn good cover artist, because
that's true.
The photo or whatever was on that box is
very true.
That's crucial. Or the synopsis on the back, like you better had someone writing fucking beautiful couple lines.
I wonder if that person, like who is ever writing those descriptions, I hope they have like 5 million followers on Twitter. Like they should just they were working in 240 characters before it was a thing. Mm-hmm. They should be great at it.
Exactly. But before we get going, though, I do want to say that a company that goes hand in hand with Netflix is obviously Roman.
Talk about discrete packaging.
I mean, discrete packaging. And you want to talk like, you know, the old joke, Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
If you're trying to Netflix and chill, aka fuck, you better have some Roman with you.
You know, I feel like it would. They have a variety of products. I'm sure we're talking about the swipes today.
Of course.
Yeah, the swipes. The swipes are, you know, great, but they're like when it's go time. Mm-hmm. You're already hard swiping on. If you're using some of their other products, if you have an ED, you know, get up, get yourself a glass of water, sneak a little, pop a little pill.
Yep.
Make sure you get through the end of the credits and you're ready to go. A little half hour or whatever it takes, and then you're ready. So, but yeah, Netflix and chill, you gotta, I mean, that's just synonymous. Like, you gotta have Roman if that's your game plan.
Yeah, it's great. You just go online, you talk to a doctor and they kind of go through the motions with you to see, your situation and whatnot, and they'll get you going just right. It's clinically proven way to last longer in bed. Effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but they don't require prescription. I believe that's for the ED medication. I think the swipes you could just buy.
Swipes are more of an over-the-counter, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it is clinically proven.
Yeah, clinically proven. That's the key word. Easy, discreet. GetRoman.com/dogwalk to get $10 off when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/dogwalk. One more time, GetRoman.com/dogwalk. Get that $10 off. Get that
fellas,
sex game going.
It works.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
The chief stamp of approval.
Yep.
Shout out. I'm not going to do it, but I wanted to shout.
You can't do it. You can't do. Ed. No, you can't. Ed.
It would have been perfect.
Ed.
Though. It would have been perfect.
We don't name drop on this podcast.
I apologize. Sorry, Netflix, man. Shit's going haywire.
Mm-hmm.
Their subs dropped for the first time in history. They dropped by about 200K. The last time I saw, I believe that was either last Wednesday or so.
Yep.
Ish. And at that point, the stock had dropped by 25%. I don't know what it's at this point, because obviously it's Tuesday. We're framing this as Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately after that, they said that they're going to crack down on password sharing.
Yeah. Now, I wonder what that means exactly, because I started at Netflix, and then I remember I went home over like a Christmas break, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. My parents didn't have the streaming, and I remember what it was, actually. It was to watch The Irishman. So when did that come out? 2019 on Netflix?
The Irishman came out in 2017, 2018, I would say.
I could have sworn we were doing this show.
Yeah, it says 2019.
2019.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Very wrong.
Directionally correct. But I remember I pulled it up. It was either, some holiday weekend, and I loaded Netflix onto my parents' TVs. And then I come back home, and I noticed that there are a couple extra profiles have been created. So I wonder if the password sharing is going to make my parents have to have their own, because they have my password and they have I have 4 profiles now on my account. My brother Patrick and my parents each have their own. They couldn't even share a profile. I guess they're fucking up each other's algorithm.
Can't fuck up the algorithm.
Yeah. But so I wonder if they're cracking down on what that means exactly. If that's going to be per household, or is it like everybody's ex-girlfriend is they can no longer log in as me.
And I think the thing is, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, and I'm going back to the point where we've talked a lot about other things on this podcast, and one thing that makes a lot of sense, can they make some sort of fucking blockchain here? Where it's because I don't want to, if it really is something where it's you only get 3 logins, and it's all right, my smart TV, my laptop, and my phone. Why can't I have my second TV? There needs to be some type of.
There should be a geolocated.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so you have devices plus geolocation,
which I'm sure they're working on. They're a lot smarter than.
Yeah, and I want to say that I've definitely with my girlfriend. The thing that gets so frustrating for me though, because this has happened to me several times, is that it's my account, right? I'm paying it. My parents just added their profiles. My brother, he's living in England. He's younger. He needed an account, so he has a profile. But my plan limits it to 2 screens. So there have been many times where I have logged on trying to go to Netflix to watch something specifically, and it's Bill is watching something somewhere else, and then you got this other. Your 2 screens are allocated. I'm paying and I can't even use it because the other people. So
and then, like you said, your argument about the geolocator is that, say, if you go take a snowboarding trip and you want to use your subscription in Colorado.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, and that's something where. You pay for the service, you should be able to take it on the road with you. I don't know. Netflix, it's a tough.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
a nut to crack.
72-hour window they could use. I don't know.
Because I've definitely done that on business trips before we had this job too. How many different platforms do you subscribe to?
Okay, so me personally, right now, I'm on Netflix. My friend pays for it, and I'll pay for it every 2 years. I'll just
hey, this is for
quick
Netflix.
Pay him whatever,
yeah.
or I'll
That's good of you.
One day I picked up his tab and whatever, and so that's how it works. So I
it balances out.
Somewhat leech off of Netflix.
I would say that you have a Netflix then.
Yes, I leech off my dad's HBO.
Okay.
I leech off my sister's Hulu. And I pay for Paramount.
You're the fucking problem.
I pay for Paramount.
That's the one you pay
Yeah,
for?
that's the one I pay for.
Prime?
Paying it forward. I pay for Prime as well.
Okay, so you have 5. Disney Plus.
Well, there's like that bundle.
Well, I have
which
the
is
bundle,
nice.
which is Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I forgot. I totally forgot about those two. Yeah, I don't do those either. but
I was doing this. So I have regular cable, but then I do have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and Paramount. And so I'm spending like on content subscriptions between cable and those. I'm spending like $500 a month. And it's like, I'm going to drop one. And it's like, I can't. But this, like the Netflix thing, it's still crazy because per their own numbers, even though they've lost subscribers for the first time ever, do you know how many worldwide subscribers they have?
I don't.
219 million.
That's so fucking many.
That is a crazy number. So 219 million, and like different countries have different price points and different things like that. But if you just do 219 times, we'll call it $14 because I think it's $13.99 a month, times 12, okay, that's 36,792. And then you have, but it's into millions.
Yes.
So it's like they're on just subscriptions. They're making a fucking
lot of money,
ton of money,
shit ton.
And I also think, and they had said something like this too, where it's like they knew that they were getting a pandemic boost. Like I gotta be home. I fucking gotta have Netflix because I'm just home all day.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a natural lapse that occurred here. It's almost like a perfect storm against Netflix, where it's like, in the last 3 years, you've had Disney Plus launch. Hulu's really stepped their game up in terms of original programming. Paramount, new. HBO Max, new. So you have all these competitors.
HBO Go is around, but HBO Max, I would say they stepped up. I've said they've been around, but they've stepped up.
HBO Max, like Go is just like whatever is normally on HBO, you can get on Go. And I think Max has additional content. They have their own additional like original programming, and then I think Netflix really is feeling the squeeze that they would lease out, The Office and all these different shows.
Peacock, we forgot to say.
Peacock, okay.
Obviously, I pay for Peacock because I have cable.
Through cable, yeah. And so you would pick out all these different Peacock, like streaming has made like this year for me a huge difference for how I consume sports too. Every single NHL game on ESPN Plus and Hulu, every single EPL game is on Peacock. Like and then now there's like college sports, baseball, like their streaming has, like if you're a sports fan and you're not doing the streaming, you're a fucking idiot. Because it's
wow. I mean, that's a big change of tune because that was always a big thing where you didn't want to get rid of cable because of how strong it was when it came to sports.
Yeah, cable is still king, especially for like college football and the NFL. But yeah, like I think
and to be honest,
for all my niche sports
and for all to your knowledge, like there probably is a way to stream all that shit too.
Yeah, but they haven't made it so easy that I could do it. So yeah, but like the sports ones, like I mean, even if you wanted to watch cricket, like there was always like fucking random cricket games on.
And I do understand the irony. What did we talk about pirating? A couple. I forget. We had a big pirating discussion.
Did we?
One point.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I am paying for some of these directly. It's just you're kind of but like here's the thing, like. They have my Paramount, I have my...
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
there's sharing going on.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, yes, there is sharing. And I also do A-List. I don't know if you...
I've never heard of that one.
A-List.
Okay.
I don't know if you count that or not, but that's like...
I don't know enough about it, but...
It's a movie pass. You get to see 3 movies a week in the theaters. And they do have like a...
They have a streaming...
They do have,
sister product?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like, so... But I do think that Netflix is... It seems like it's a little bit alarmist, like maybe a little bit of an overreaction. They're still the biggest, like by far. They're still making a fuck ton of money, but that's like one of those things where it's like if you're not growing, well, then you're worthless. Is basically how the stock market treats you, which I think is wrong.
And I saw an interesting tweet on that, and I dug all morning to try to find it. I couldn't find it. Some woman tweeted. It had like 43,000 retweets. And it was like, what? Like, why do we, like, growth is so, like, everyone just, growth. It was like, at what point are you going to be like, hey, stabilization is great for the consumer? And, like, everyone's like, what is wrong with stabilization?
Well, yeah.
And I might get red ed jokes for that. But.
Well, I mean, that is kind of capitalism, but that's also like, that to me is like a flaw in the stock market. So it's like, you made 199, I'm making up numbers, but let's say you made $200 million profit one year and you made 199 the next year. So you're like, oh, that's how X amount of growth of losses. Well, it's like, not losses. You're profitable. If you're losing money, that's a problem. But if you're still profitable, but you're not like, you can't grow necessarily forever. So they're making money. And then I think that they also, if you look at them for like original programming, and I guess it's not technically original because it's BBC, but we haven't had a Peaky Blinders season in like 2.5 years, like a new season of that. Narcos was another one of their big shows that had been, I think they just recently brought it back, but that had been off for a long time. So I think you have a combination of subscribers going back into the world and being like, well, I don't need Netflix anymore. Other options, competitors, which they forecasted themselves, and then an inability to film and distribute their original content like Peaky Blinders that had always been like, kind of appointment television for people who love that show. They're just like, well, maybe I'll sign back up whenever they release Peaky Blinders, which has been delayed like, I don't know, several times. I think it's now set to release at the end of May or early June, the latest season. So if you have like all these different confluence of factors, it's like, well, yeah, no shit, you're not going to be growing at the rate that you were growing, and you're going to lose some subscribers to your competitors, and that's just the way it works. That's just like, I'm sure Ford lost some market share to Chevy at some point. Doesn't mean Ford's a bad company.
Yeah,
they're just not. The Model T there's more cars than just the Model T.
And it just became, I don't know, the people were just thrilled, and it's just because they just raised the prices, and they're just mad that, a big thing is too, they're mad that their fucking Santa Clarita diet got canceled. Got canceled. Like the big thing is I guess like Netflix is known for making a show and then letting it last 2 seasons and then just pulling the plug.
Oh,
they
really?
did that with a lot of shows.
Okay.
A lot of that, rightfully so. If you get invested and you get mad, but I don't know. Like they still hit home runs a lot.
They do.
Like Stranger Things is fucking phenomenal.
It's another one. That's a great show. Yeah. Although that's a show that I think I missed the 3rd season. I just kind of fell off of that. But that was, that's a great show. Yeah. But I do think that, like HBO Max, I watched a show the other day, or not the other day, like a month ago. It was kind of like it was something that had to do with a pandemic, but it was a very good show. And it was on HBO Max, and it was only on HBO Max. I shouldn't say very good. I watched it, but
yeah, it was fine.
Fine, kill a weekend when the weather was bad. But it's one of those things where it's like 4 years ago, absolutely that show is on Netflix, and now they can shop it around, and we're going to sell it to HBO Max because they gave us $1 more. And then the whole thing with the only thing with Netflix raising their prices is that I think they would be better served to be like, look, and from a goodwill standpoint, look, yeah, we took a little bit of a bath. We're not going to just scramble to make up money. Like, we're a good company. Like, just be like, fuck you. We're a good company. We're loyal to our subscribers. I would pay an extra $1. I don't mind paying $13.99 as opposed to $11.99 or whatever that was when I first signed up. I hate those commercials. I hate, like, when I'm watching, because I've been watching a lot of Hulu.
On Netflix?
On Hulu, and Amazon.
That was my next point, because that's where Netflix will start to lose me. I'm pro Netflix in this case right now. Yeah. I understand. Like, listen, I was upset when they canceled Bloodline. That was a great show. Have you ever watched that?
I watched the first season, but I was so mad at how they ended it that I'm like, I'm not watching season
It was
two.
Good. It was good. But if they bring ads into the equation, which is rumored,
but they've said it.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for me to defend.
It's going to be tough for me to defend, and like the Hulu, because they do the ads. They have ads on all their original. It's not even an original program, but I've been watching that Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton show, which is, what is that? A trip down memory lane for a young, horny 12-year-old chief. And remember that story, kind of Star Report. But it's like you're watching it, and I know it was originally produced for FX, which is cable, which has commercials. But they just, they put in these, and they have a little clock countdown, which kind of drives me crazy too. They got 90 seconds on this, 2:10.
It sucks.
It sucks. And there's something about it where their commercials are 4x louder than the show. So you have to like race to mute it or turn it down or whatever. It sucks. So if Netflix does that, I don't know that Netflix has enough programming at this point to justify the price increase and the ads. Like, they don't have enough that I watch with any regularity. They don't have Always Sunny anymore. They don't have The Office anymore. They just picked up Seinfeld, which I'm sure is a huge deal for them. But it's just not. You start putting in commercials, and you are gonna lose me because
I'm concerned about commercials. I agree.
Are you surprised that they didn't try to get into sports streaming too?
Yeah,
because it seems like that's a.
And yeah, I mean the market's 200 million.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so like, I would have assumed because especially like ESPN Plus, Hulu, like that partnership works, and then you bundle it with Disney Plus, everybody shares in it, and then that ability, and again, like I am a hockey guy, it's a niche sport, I know it's not going to play as much for probably some of the other major sports, but man, just being able to cycle through like every single game is just fucking awesome. That used to cost you on cable like $200 a year. Now it's $13. It's easy.
But it was naturally going to happen with all this competition, and they lost a lot of what they had because those companies just pulled it back.
Right. You're exactly.
So Netflix,
like we own The Office, so we're not going to let you have it.
Like if you had Netflix to throw on for your kids, and you like that kids section. And then it's like, well, all right, like I think Disney Plus is better. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? So I don't know. The freak out over 200,000 subs drops and 25% stock is crazy.
When you have 219 million subscribers still, and that's subscribers. Like I'm a subscriber. There's 4 people. At least 4, possibly as many as 7 that are using.
Who are we referring to? Let's break those
these
down.
These would be ex-girlfriends that would still have the password. So, but that's so a current girlfriend, probably 2 ex-girlfriends, and then 3 people in my family. We're talking 7 people that are consumers on one subscriber. So you still have like a big audience, even if you lost 200,000 subscribers to return to normalcy. I want to know, and I couldn't find this when we were looking it up quickly, if what their pre-pandemic subscribers were, what it ballooned to during the pandemic, like their peak, and what it is now. So are they like basically level as to what their numbers were in 19 now?
Yeah.
Or is it below what they were in 19?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would need to know.
Yeah. So that would be my take there is they have to because listen, I could even live with a pre-roll commercial. How about that? Give me a 30-second, 1-minute pre-roll commercial.
Yeah.
But mid show, no, I'm out.
Have John.
Well, I'm not out, but I'll be unhappy.
I'll be unhappy. Yes.
Yeah.
Have John Krasinski come in if he's he always stares at the camera during The Office.
Yes.
Just be like, and let me tell you about Roman.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Just break in, like break the fourth wall right during the scene. I would get a kick out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think they need to figure out the password sharing thing if they're really going to crack down. Like they got to do it in like a fair way, I would say.
Like you have X amount of time.
Yes. So like we just talked about, like you're able to access it here, geolocation.
Yeah.
You're able to get, like it can't become a pain in the ass where it's like, oh, you got to log out on your TV to go on your phone. You can't have that.
You're right.
And the other thing that we didn't even touch on here is this is the we got to go against Elon here. I actually disagree with him. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
He was blaming it on wokeness.
I didn't see that. What did he say about that?
He was blaming it on wokeness. He was like, oh, it's one of those things like, oh, that like, people like to say is like, go woke, go broke or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That he said like,
Has Netflix gone woke?
I mean, they have like people. I saw a screenshot of someone that like a guy who's pregnant and shit like that. Like there is an element of sure, but like I don't see how that bothers you. Like,
don't click on that one. That's what I always say to people who get mad at us. Like, I had a little internet spat last week, and I understand. Like, I don't care if you don't like Barstool. The internet is fucking huge. Find content that you'll like, but don't like shit on us and me and make up lies about us. Just click on something else. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. Like, like that's fucking whatever. That content's not for me on Netflix, theoretically.
Yeah.
Like, just don't like scroll to the next one. Who cares?
I've never sat there and like gotten like you angry scroll. I think everyone does that at some point. I've never gone on Netflix and be like, what the fuck? Why did they do this?
There's
like,
only
sure, I've been like, maybe like, rolled your eyes or like you keep going, but like,
there's only one show on there that I like got angry about one time, and it's a show that they update maybe every week, and I think it's called like Explained. And I watched it. I can't even remember what the subject was. And I'm like, this is the most slanted shit I have ever seen. And they're presenting it as like cold, hard fact. And so that bothered me a little bit. But like that's how many different titles do they have on there?
Shit ton.
My biggest frustration with Netflix, and this goes for all of them, is myself. Is just being unable to choose.
To figure something out.
Yeah. So they even tried to address that when they have the random button. Like you just be like, hey, just give me something. I don't care what it is. Just don't make me choose.
That's still not good enough.
I never used I tried that like when it first came out. I'm like, I hate all this shit.
And I mean, I guess your argument could be like, oh, if you stopped putting money into those shows, you could make some better ones. But like, dude, it's part of society now, and it is what it is. I don't know.
I reject that. I think, you know, that's kind of to the Elon's point, though. You know, like I would assume if I'm understanding you correctly, where it's like, you know, you're doing it because it's part of society, but that part of society doesn't make you any money.
Sure.
Then it's like, well, then why are you doing that? I think it's just like, and this is not.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying I've accepted it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I mean, that is kind of the way of the world, but it does bother me that it's both sides, you know, where it's like the loudest people are still I would say it's 10% of people on either side, and they impact policy, and I feel like they shouldn't, but the rest of us are just like, oh, God, shut up.
Yeah.
You know,
like just make good shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Make good shit.
Right. And it should be the same for like, you know, political parties. Like you shouldn't have like a predisposition on every particular issue based upon the letter next to somebody's name. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. If they're qualified, they're qualified. It shouldn't be like everything. I'm so tired of everything being political. Just everyone just
that's what I'm
up.
saying. Like even this had to turn into it. So
right, because everything does.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, even looking through these, there's something. I think Outer Banks is huge, isn't it? Ozark's huge.
Ozark's is huge. That's another one I don't know. That one never grabbed. I know people love it. I watched the first couple episodes.
There's a bunch of those animated ones, you know, like with Bill Burr, the F is for Family and stuff.
I haven't seen that. They still have like great documentaries too.
Yeah. Did you watch the Obama National Park?
Oh yeah. Well, I should say that I fell asleep to it many times, but it wasn't national parks just in America. It was national parks like all over the world.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, which I didn't know that because there was a Burns. What's the guy's name who did baseball? He's done a bunch of he's done Ed Burns. I don't know, but he's like a PBS documentary maker, and he did one on baseball, and he's in like the Civil War, World War II, and they're always great. They're long and boring, but they're great. And he did one of the national parks, and I was hoping it would be like a reboot of that with just Obama narrating, and it wasn't quite that. So I don't think the Obama one was that great, but it's good fall asleep. He's just got one of those voices where it's just like,
he does.
Put me to sleep, man.
He does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If you're upset because your favorite shows keep getting canceled on Netflix and they keep raising the prices and the commercials are coming, I understand. I guess my personal situation, I don't, I haven't. And also I say that as like a guy who shares an account. So, who pays every other year.
I do think Netflix could generate a lot of goodwill by just being like, we're not really concerned about the stock price. People are fickle. We put out a good product and we're not going to scramble just to make the stock go up. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing because we got 219 million subscribers. We're loyal to them. And that's what it is. We're not loyal. We're more loyal to they should be more loyal to their subscribers than their shareholders is what I think. And then because I think that would create more good business and make the stock go up. Yeah. If you're focused on your subscriber, your customer, like the rest will follow.
Yeah. I hear you, man. We'll see. Netflix. Will you cancel? Let us know.
Let us know.
All right then, Chief. Thank you. That's it for today. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow.